Hello, hello. It's Jennie Wolek in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm so excited to be hanging out with the boys today. Aren't I the luckiest ever? I'm on my personal Facebook page today just because I want to make sure that this gets out to everyone and you guys share and post any questions that you may have. And also, I'm just so excited. Today, the theme is called 20 Ways to Go from E to P and I to We in your life and your business. And today's main focus is going to be on our database and how we do that through our database. So I'm just going to let everybody first off introduce themselves with their, quick little elevator pitch of who they are, what they do, where they are. How about that? Tony, I'm going to let you go first.
All right, Jenny. Tony Baroni, Keller Williams Realty in Tampa Bay. We have an office in Orlando as well. Been in real estate since 2005. I think I'd be considered a dinosaur at this point. I think that's what they categorize me as a 15-year vet in the business. And we're at 240 units for about 70 to 80 million in the past 12 months. And that's us. And we're about a 15-person team as well.
Awesome. All right. Timmy, what you got?
Tim Hauk, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I've also been in the business for the dinosaur era, apparently, 2006. We're actually 140 closed, 60 pending. So we're right at 200 closed and pending for the year. GCI, just over a million closed, 400,000 pending for volume about 42 million. So we've got a team of 13, and we're proudly bringing on a few more people next week to help support the growth.
Love it. All right, Josh, you're up.
Josh Anderson. I am in Nashville, Tennessee. I guess I'm going to lump myself in the same group because I got in business the same month that Timmy did, April of 2006. So I've been in business a little over 14 years. This year we are at, I like our number, 202 closed and pending for 97 million. So we're having a really good year despite all the craziness. Yeah.
All right, fun. Well, you guys, I'm the oldest and the least successful, so that's super great.
Wisest. You're the wisest.
Oldest.
The oldest and wisest. I'm, fighter with age, let's say that. So I'm Jennie Wolek in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we are honestly rocking for our team. We've already closed and pended 115 homes. My team is rocking at staying productive and positive and working their booties off. We actually are bringing on new people as well while still helping lots of families. The fun part is that more than half our business comes from our database, and then another 25-30% so far this year is coming from our agent database. So obviously, I know all of us really focus on loving on our people, and that's super important to us. So therefore, that is why this is our topic today. So each of us had come up with 5 different ways that we love on our database and stay connected with them and market to them. And so Josh is going to lead it off, and because he's going to be the one who picks how we run this whole show today.
Okay, thanks. Well, I'm going to just go through like my 4 or 5 things, and it is all database, but it's not just like the 36 touch stuff. So I'll start with, I kind of lumped together, my number 1 was kind of like our giveaways, our contests, and our pop buys. So we're just, like our business has been so much client event type things and housewarming parties and stuff for so many years that this, we had it all planned out for 2020 and 2019. So we've really had to shift on like some of our just little things that are like Zoom, the Zoom bingo and the Zoom trivia. And we did a magic show, which was weird, by the way. But we did like, on our Instagram, we did like National Tequila Day and did a giveaway. And it was, I think we had 65 comments on it. So people had to like it. And what?
You did, because I shared that today with my marketing girl. So thank you for that idea.
I know you like to rip off and duplicate.
I do.
Um,
I'm the queen.
so, just doing stuff like tomorrow we've got a food truck at our office building. So it's for 3 hours. It's a snow cone, shaved ice. And so really it's just for people, it's our clients, our database, people in the community. So we've shifted like all of our client events to more community type stuff and opened it up more to our Instagram people, our Facebook, our LinkedIn. And then the pop buys, we've kind of gone into a lot of our past clients to see like what they're doing. So some people have these side hustles and some people, they do it full time. And so like right now we're doing pop buys that are like a modified version of our referral boxes, which has like all things Nashville local. You guys on here have all gotten one of those.
Awesome. That's really good too.
I'm ready for another one.
Well, all you have to do is send a referral. But like one of our clients is she's a physician at Vanderbilt, and she on the side does like these mason jars with like a little bouquet of flowers. And so we just worked out a deal with her to like buy 100 of those. And so every team member gets to drop off 10 of those just to brighten somebody's day and, say thank you for being a client. And that's it. No asking for referrals, none of that stuff. And then the contests are more just like, it's kind of like the National Tequila Day, or it's the $100 gift card for, one of our clients that owns a pizzeria place in town. So really just trying to do a lot more of that. We just reached out to 3 or 4 nonprofits. I have a past client that has a nonprofit called People Loving Nashville. And so every Monday night they cook meals for the homeless. And then they have a separate kind of tribe of people that are volunteers that go out and give that food. And so we're working with them. And then we're working with our neighborhood associations in my neighborhood as well as in our office neighborhood that to do like beautification type stuff. So like planting trees and buying the trees. And we do all that in conjunction. So the Anderson Group with our nonprofit Rehome. So those are like, that's a really digested version of some of the things we do. And I'm happy to like, connect anybody that's listening. If you want to talk to our marketing director, we can get you guys on a call. I know Tim's got a marketing call set up with our people. So number 2, and if you guys have any questions, like definitely put it in the chat box because it'll allow me an opportunity to answer your questions in real time. This isn't really like number 2, but just going along with those contests and stuff, like our online and offline. So my goal is always to like, take the online offline and take the offline online. So we're making a really hard push. So like my admin are printing out my lead generation calls every day. And so I'm putting notes on them, but as we're doing them, we're going through and like adding people on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. So some of those people, if they unsubscribe from something, they're still seeing like our personal profiles as well as our business pages. And that's how they're going to, get the giveaways and all those things. So just kind of creating the web between the videos and the blogs and all that stuff. The next one would be like, a lot of people talk about geographic farming. And so I've never really been a geographic farmer. I've been more of a demographic farmer. So like where our kids go to school and friends of friends. So that's why we do housewarming parties and client events. We always ask all of our clients that RSVP to invite a +1 because we want to add to we want to build our database and feed our database and add value to it with all of our clients' friends. So that's kind of the ultimate goal. And I'm happy to kind of dig into more of these. I'm kind of giving overviews because I figured we were going to have questions afterward. One of the other things I started doing probably like 2 years ago, and I think for me, it's just, either 2 half days or 1 day a month where I just do video. So I just got done doing 5 last week. And so some of them were literally just me driving around in my truck and like looking at some of our listings and just kind of having like very conversational. Some are more teacher style. So like teaching like question answer type thing. And then some are, here are the top 3 here are the top 3 public elementary schools in Davidson County or in Williamson County. So those are things you can't really Google very well. Like you can go to the public school stuff. But we're sending that out to like all of our clients that had just moved there, and also just educating. So that's not as much database driven, but we're trying to educate people that might be Googling, something that my goal is always to like figure out what can we create that they can't really Google easily. So, and then the last thing on my list was, and to go along with the video stuff. So we created all these like blogs in the past, like literally probably 1,000 plus blogs. Now we're doing videos on some of them. We're tying them all back together. So we're having to go in and like make sure those links work still, and create those videos that tie back to the blog. So it's kind of going back to that web and the database. The last thing, I'll repost this if anybody wants to see it. So I just put in the chat box this simplebooklet.com. We send this out to our clients through our newsletter. And then we also put it at doctor's offices. Our office is around Vanderbilt Hospital and University. And so we go physically, we print out about 500 copies of these and give them to our clients, and then put them in waiting rooms at the physician offices and put them in just different restaurants. So it's a market snapshot report, but it's like 20 pages, and it's like every zip code, what the market's doing in every one of them. This one's like very analytical and very much like numbers driven. The ones in the past that we've done, we're kind of playing around with different ways of doing them, but the ones in the past have been highlighting a business or a designer or a certain house along with all the rest of our stuff. So I can send you guys an email, or if somebody wants to see what a market report would look like. They're really nice. They look just like our listing presentation packets. So they're like glossy. I mean, they're expensive to produce,
Yeah.
but they stay like we do 2 a year. So they're kind of like, first and second quarter. So it's usually like spring and summer and fall and winter, or, first 2 quarters, last 2 quarters. So they have shelf life and people like them. So that was kind of I don't know how much time I took, but.
And simple booklet is where you order them from, Josh?
Sarah just sent me she just sent me this link because I couldn't get it to work on our website. So we're going to put it as a landing page on our website, and then we're going to put it in a newsletter to send to everybody, and then we're going to have physical copies as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll find out and I'll let you know in case y'all want to do it. But I do think there's a lot of people that really don't know what the price per square foot and how many things are selling, what the average days on the market are, and they can pick this up and physically touch it and feel it and see it and hold on to it.
So what I'm thinking the value of your simple booklet is your market snapshot is that it's super sticky, because it's classy and looks pretty, and your branding is all over. So people are going to grab it and keep it in their house, whether they're ready to buy or sell right now. But then you're just creating, an image and perception for them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the idea was we make the physical copies for, our clients, but we also, that's why we had the idea of putting them in all these different doctor's offices and physician offices and just places where there would be something similar to a waiting room, because they can either take it with them or it can sit there for the next 6 months.
I have another question.
Yeah.
I take notes along the way. So, because I'm going to steal all your stuff like I always do. So
R&D is the word.
Yeah.
Well, I think that it's okay, because whenever we all R&D each other's stuff, then more people can learn and grow from it. So my thought was, you shared that your goal is to capture new people. So people either from a housewarming party or invite a friend, or capturing them from giveaways online. And so I call those met. So now they're a met because you know each other in some fashion. Do you guys have an action plan, or welcome to our community, or hi, nice to see you because you're new to our world system by chance?
Why? Because would you like it? Is that
we just rolled this out. Like we just came up with because we've been doing all these, reverse bold 100s and have these new people. So yeah. So
I can give you a quick example. So like we just finished putting together kind of our orphan lead system. So that's a little bit different than what you're talking about. But we have an entire system now, and we've kind of been talking about these orphan leads for a couple years.
Talk about that. Go.
Okay, wait.
Sorry.
So yeah, so now we have this whole system of like the day of closing, we drop something off to the new homeowners as a thank you. You know, our clients love this home. We hope you love it just as much, blah, blah, blah. And it's nothing expensive. It's just like a little, again, it's kind of one of our client versions of the referral box that you guys have seen with like some of our stuff. And then it's got like a Swiffer in it, and it's got like a Tide Pod and, you know, those kind of things. Just like, yeah, hopefully what?
Tide Pod.
Yeah, well, that's what there's in there. Hopefully their kids don't eat them or
That's
whatever. Well,
They look good.
yeah, I know, really, it looks just like popcorn. So to answer your question, and I'll talk about the orphan things if y'all want to talk about it later, but
That's a hot topic people have been asking about.
yeah, so the rest of the stuff is like, you know, so let's take housewarming party, for example. So we have this whole system around housewarming party on how we get their information. So it's like we send out a physical invitation, and we also send out an online invitation. And that physical invitation allows us to get their mailing address, and it allows us to get their phone number and their email address. We tell our clients we'll take care of all of it. That way we have everybody's contact information, and we can follow up with all of them. They get to go on our general newsletter. So we don't have like a formal system like you know, back in the day I did the 8x8 when we met somebody. It's just gotten to be such a beast that I'm not sure that we can do that, but we could definitely have a checklist for some kind of modified program.
Now, I know, and I love the idea of housewarming parties. Is that possible right now with COVID?
If they have a big enough backyard.
True.
Nice answer. All right, one question that I see here on Facebook. Are you finding, Josh, that people are, doctor's offices aren't allowing you in their waiting areas? Or is this kind of an idea that you've done in the past because you haven't created one recently for the year?
So this one that we're about to have printed, I mean, everything in Nashville's still open. Like, I mean, we can go do it just like we could before. So what we were doing was we were getting like 3 of us to go over the course of maybe a 2-week period. We were giving out. So actually there were originally like 3 of us. Then we just got our intern to do it. So our intern would go and drop them off at all these different, there's a bank across the street. There's a gazillion physician offices because we're right next to Vanderbilt. So they were just dropping them off on the closest. There's several coffee shops. So we were just dropping them, having people drop them off, but we're still able to do it. So it's still happening right now. But the reason we did the online version, which we didn't originally do, is because of now. So like we can send that in a newsletter. We can email that to people, especially like listing presentations. Like people can skim over to this and see, like if it's a CPA or it's a, you know, somebody that's an analytical type person, they're going to eat this up and love it.
Awesome. Well, if anybody's watching and has more questions, then go ahead and share them either in the chat box if you're on Zoom or on Facebook. I'm doing my best to see things. Sometimes I can't see everything. And then we'll come back to those. And Josh, I know you'll share links so we can pass that on to everybody. So who wants to go next? I'll let either of the tees up. Who wants it?
It's up to you, Timmy. You want me to go? He just took a bite.
Rock, paper, scissors, let's go.
Okay.
Oh, geez. Okay, Tony won, and there was even a delay.
And Tim does Rochambeau version.
Go TB.
All right. So here are the things for you to P that I wrote down. Nothing's going to be super fancy was my big aha after I got done with my list. It was just, you know, really determining what pushes the ball forward for us. So just wanted to go through those. So the first one is next level tracking. So, you know, you usually don't have a lead problem, you have a lead conversion problem, right? So we dug into last year in 2019, we examined what happened, and basically we looked at METs, set, appointments went on, and we're like, we're really good at that. We did a pretty good job for the national average. And then we were like, I don't know what really happened after that because there's no real notes after we set the appointment and that they went on it. We don't really know what happened from our CRM and from tracking purposes. So we then decided to okay, we need to examine this a little closer. And really, I got our ISA department more into follow up on with agents when once it's assigned, like, hey, what happened? And then that became a little daunting. So it's like, okay, well, how do we streamline this? So we created what we call our TBT hotline, which every agent calls in after their appointment. And this is really important part. It's not just physical, it's virtual. So if you have a virtual buyer's consult or listing presentation, then you're going to call in after to this hotline that goes straight to voicemail. And when you do, you're going to say, yeah, I went and I saw Josh Anderson over at 123 Main Street. He decided they're going to go ahead and move forward and sign the paperwork. We're going to get it going. We're going to list in about a week. Here's a little bit of background on them. Thanks so much for the lead. We appreciate it. Boom. So that goes straight to voicemail. It goes to our ISA department and myself. So we're kept in the loop on every single lead. And that's been an absolute game changer for us on tracking and knowing what's happening, triggering them what the follow-up system should be on their end. Is to go back to the ISA department or not? Because if they say, hey, they're not going to list for 3 months, they've decided not to list forever, we know that the ISA department will then nurture that versus the listing agent, for example. So it's been huge. Everyone that listens to this can implement this. It's even if you're by yourself, you have no team, you could have this type of system just to keep track of things for yourself as well. And we use a company called CallRail, which is where we grab the phone number. It's an 866 number that we call in, and we're able to get that information. CallRail. So call, RAIL. Another one that I like is called Number Garage, where you can get phone numbers as well. So next level tracking. So now we do a lead. As a leadership team, we do a lead conversation between all the leadership on our team on every lead that came in every week. And we make sure nothing's double counted. We make sure we have full clarity on who's following up and what that should look like. And that's about a 15-minute phone call every Monday that we do. And then we do we, they training program. And ultimately that is, 30 days, they're shadowing you. The next 30 to 60 days, you're watching them. And then from there, we go to they, and you're watching them. So that has been very successful for us. Highly recommend it. What are you guys laughing about? What is going on?
Tim's texting me. I'm sorry.
Gosh, you goofballs. I can't keep track of what I'm doing. Stop.
Respect.
Okay.
And then, so we, they. I think most people know what that is, but I did that with our listing agent, and it was fantastic. And he's on pace to do 150 listings taken this year, so it works.
Wait, can you briefly just, I think a lot of people won't understand what it is. Can you explain I, we, they?
Hey, Tony, I will, because I had the same question. So
go ahead.
Can you tell me, is this, what about like 30, 60, 90? Is it kind of folding in with that if it's a new person? And I know with Craig, he was already on your team, so it worked to get him transitioned to a new role. So for both.
No, he started on our team as a listing agent. So day one, we were in the 30, 60, 90. So yeah, the first 30 days, they're shadowing you. The second half, you're shadowing them, and then they go off on their own and they do their thing. And that may be 30 days, it may be 15 days. Like for example, after the first 60 days with Craig, I think we went on for 3 or 4 days, and Craig I was like, he's ready to go. I didn't have to really worry and spend another 30 days with him. So
I know so many people that are watching, and one of their big questions was all around training and hiring and accountability with team members. So here's the deal. Could you just fold in the first 30 days is the I period, and you just are gonna
correct.
You don't have to fold in any new system, nothing different. It's just they're at your hip and attached.
Yeah, I mean, for us, especially on the listing side, and when I look back to the best people that have ever been on my team that I personally was involved with, that's what I did. And they literally went everywhere I went. They rode with me. They heard every phone conversation in a small office because we started in this little cubby, you know, and then, and they were just really around me nonstop and listening to all the stuff. They also learned work ethic, right? Like, I'm on the phone all day. So when they have to do it, it's like, oh yeah, Tony does the same thing. It's not like I'm working hard, he's not. And a lot of people learn that way. I know I do from an audio standpoint of just being around it. So I think we try to go through it in a couple days and we're like, good luck, see ya. And that becomes very messy, very fast, right? And we're not setting up people for success.
I think shadowing is so crucial in those early days because they, exactly like you said, they can hear you, they can see you, they can feel the connection and the vibe of how you talk. What else is on your list, Tony?
So speed of the lead, you know, guys, you got to answer your phones. Like, you're spending tons of money for your phone to ring. So when it does, you've got to have it set up where people are answering your phone, whether it's you or someone else. And look at it. You can look at it two ways. This is cumbersome. I don't want people calling me. They're bothering me. Or it's your average commission for your market and you're there to serve another family. And we've obviously went all in with the ISA department to be able to answer the phone quickly, get back to people super fast, and make sure that they're cared for. And something we talked earlier today, it's not just from a client facing, it's from agent facing, right? So other agents calling our listings with questions that want to submit an offer, like, we're on it, getting back to them, answering their questions if they have them, and making sure that we're being good stewards as a team locally, because your reputation does matter, right?
I think Tony, I think the answering your phone right now is even more pronounced feeling, at least in Nashville. I mean, people are ready to do something like really fast. And I think we're having to make double the amount of phone calls to get the same efforts, but we're also having to really, I mean, I'm still amazed at the amount of agents that don't answer their phone. I'm actually not amazed anymore, but I'm just kind of like, it surprises me that they pay for leads and then don't really follow up with them like you should, or like we know we're supposed to. But just answering your phone in a timely manner right now feels even crazier than usual. Just because everything's so accelerated and interest rates and people are on edge and it's low inventory.
We had, to comment on that, we had an agent who's the fastest, he always answers the phone the fastest, picked up 3 come list me's in the last 7 days, literally, like, come list me, come list me, come list me. Answering the phone.
Yeah, so at speed of the lead, and I can't take all the credit, but when I look back, I've always answered my phone pretty consistently, you know, and then also as I got busy, I also found leverage to help me do that during certain times where, you know, I don't like when I call and someone's voicemail's full. It's really, so that's happened to me numerous times. And I'm like, I can't let that happen again. Like, so I feel like I'm doing a good job if that were to happen. So I've created where I hire more people to try to help me do that and make sure that we're delivering the promise to every client, and also to other agents locally. So speed of the lead, Commons 2015, the stats were this: if you call people back within 5 minutes, you have an 80% chance of doing business with them. If you wait till 10 minutes, you have a 5% chance. So that was so powerful. I left there and I started an ISA department. I flew into Lance Loken's operation in Houston, learned everything I could in a day there, and then came back and implemented it. And we're actually doubling down on our ISA department. We're going to be hiring 2 new people. We're interviewing right now and bringing them on. So we're excited about that. Then we have a newsletter that we do every other month right now. It was quarterly, and we're plugging our reverse bolds on the front page of that. We're also, we're writing it completely organic. And what Josh had said is these articles we write in there, now we're working on taking those articles, doing a blog, and doing a video attached with the article, and then being able to put those on the website as well. So that's the stuff we're getting into now. Reverse bold, I know most people know what that is by now, but I will plug a video I did for that, and then it has all the systems we use for that, and it has our newsletter as well in case anyone wants to take a look at it. I'll put that in the chat right now. And then get educated. Last couple weeks, I've sent 2 of my team members to career visioning that are leaders in our organization, and we're able to do that for like 99 bucks versus $300 or $400. So take advantage during the time to take advantage of the Zoom. I know we're all sick of Zoom at one point, but in the other way, it's pretty easy to not have to jump on a plane and be disrupted for 3 or 4 days taking a class anymore. So it has its benefits as well. So super simple stuff, but it's making a big impact.
You know,
This is not a beer. This is actually these fizzy beers that I love.
Hey,
So.
that's Arbonne. I love those.
Ellie said, you got to tell people when you're talking on Zoom that this is not an IPA. It's actually.
I thought it was an IPA. You're an hour later than us, so it kind of makes sense. I was thinking it's too early here. Tony, questions for you. So one thing that we did on our office phone, it's a little mobile phone, and we just changed the ring to say cha-ching, cha-ching. It's like a cash register so that people would get off their butts and answer it.
Yes, I love it.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, isn't that fun? And then you mentioned speed to the lead. We can say it and we know it, and our team members know it. Do you have standards around it, and how are you holding them to them?
With speed of the lead specifically, or which part?
Yeah, speed of the lead. Like how, I mean, of course they're getting to it, and then are there other standards that are associated with?
Yeah, the cool part with CallRail, it gives you options to record calls, which is awesome training opportunity for people to, you know, like we have a director of lead gen. She's able to listen to the calls after the fact and then coach them during their weekly coaching on, hey, you kind of went this direction. I'd recommend this versus that. And then I think whoever you're leading, you've got to meet with weekly for 30 minutes and have a conversation that's really all about them and what their goals are, what their 411 is, where they're at with their goals, and what struggles are they having right now. And in fact, during this time, my 15-person team, I'm reaching out to everyone, not weekly, but at least monthly, and having a good conversation on how are things going. And that's been really good for us.
Let me ask this follow-up question. Sorry, Josh, this one thing. So you're at 15 people now, and we're growing. And when did it get too much? What was your span of control of you having one-on-ones? Because now it's taking up almost a whole day for me.
Yeah, it's 5 to 6 people in my opinion, and that's being very purposeful. I will say an adjustment I made in the last 3 months. I was having some trouble staying on track. So now all my coaching are back to back to back to back. And you kind of get in that coaching rhythm per se, where I do a prep of about an hour for everyone. And then I'm able to go back to back to back. And then I have the issue of sometimes just going on where it's like, I have them call me at 30-minute mark and I say, hey, Josh, I got to go. Tim's calling me. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. No problem. So they all understand we're all back to back to back, and then we get it done, and we don't ever miss one unless they are not available or something like that, and then we can reschedule. So that's been pretty powerful. I do it Tuesday afternoons myself.
Yeah. We've been doing ours on Zoom, and so everybody's going to hop on that link. So you got to get off, right?
Yeah. I've been doing just calls still, but Zooms, that's not a bad idea. I probably should move to that. Good idea, Jenny.
Josh, did you have something that I interrupted?
I was just going to say on the accountability around the speed to the lead, as far as phone calls, at least when we have sign calls come in or we have something like that, it dials everybody at the same time. So it really is speed to lead. And there's always kind of what Tim said earlier. There's always 1 or 2 that always get the calls.
Yeah.
So
and I'll make a comment to that, because once we had a system where it rang when people, we just realized that sign calls were 2% of our business, and this year it's 10% of our business. Once we went to the routing system,
Well, it's the same way with the, it's the same,
It's a big road.
it's the same way with the leads, like through our commissions Inc. Like it hits everybody. If they don't get it in a certain timeline, it goes to the next one. And
Yeah.
so it's just one of those things that, like, the way we had it for a while was like it would go to one person and it would sit there and then it would go to the next person. So if 8 people on the team didn't take that lead, 30 minutes later nobody had touched it. It's like, well, of course we're not going to convert this lead. This is crap.
Josh, how does that make you feel when that happens?
What? Which part? I like long romantic walks to the bank.
No, how does it make you feel when no one on your team takes a call?
It does not make me a very happy camper.
None of us. I was team.
Well, Jenny, to answer your question, I mean, just since we've been doing this, I had someone call me twice in a row, and I screenshot it and sent it to my ISA department, and she called immediately. She's like, it was a telemarketer. You know, so I mean, that's how serious we take this stuff. Of like, if I'm not available, I route it. Sometimes I forward my phone if I need to.
Sometimes.
What's that?
Sometimes.
Well, yeah. Well, no, I haven't been actually in a while.
Actually, just for you, Tim.
Because we all gave them a hard time. No,
Yeah.
this is so true about so we have our sign calls to a Google number as well that goes to all agents. And, you know, Nate and Brittany are busy. Mindy's newer. She's got kids. And we've got this hot on fire, ready to go agent. And yesterday was her first day to be on the Google number. And she got like 3 calls, real people, getting them in the database. So there is excitement. You just need more of those on your team, right?
Yep.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
That's fun. All right, Tim, what do you
My
got?
turn. All right. I wanted to keep my list pretty basic. Josh talked about some stuff that's, you know, some pretty high level stuff that's you really need a deep dive into, and I'd love to kind of do a follow-up call even on some of that stuff. But the one thing we're doing right now is it's a low tech approach, right? And so as much as technology is our friend and it can be a tool, we're finding that too many people use it as a crutch, and we're avoiding some of the things that actually need to get done, even as far as consultation. So for example, if we do a virtual consultation and we'll ask them sometimes to drop stuff off at the office too. Like if we go pending, come into the office, drop that off. And even in this COVID era, they'll come in with a mask. At least it gets them to come in. We establish ourselves as a professional. We have a professional setting. They're like, oh wow, there's office people here, right? And so that's been a huge benefit. And if we can get them into the office for the consultation, we have been. They come in, they see our operations team, they meet our transactions. If we can, it's like, oh hey, this is Lauren. You saw her in the packet, right? So when we get under contract, she's going to be your main point of contact. She's an absolute rock star. You're going to love working with her, right? And then we walk them out. And so also some other low tech approaches is just that with COVID and stay at home and just so many things that we have to be aware of. I think people have this inherent need for that human contact, right? And so it's just finding ways, and I love it, for you're a solo agent and we all have teams, right? But how are we finding ways to really connect with people at a deeper level? And things are moving so fast, they're going so fast. And raise your hand if you feel like everybody's a little crazy right now. It feels like a full moon for the last 90 days. I'm not kidding, right? It's sometimes things are moving fast. It's like, take a moment to slow down and actually try to just connect and find ways so if you, even in your database, find ways to connect with people and make that impression. Let them know you're there. Let them know you care. And so that's all I'll say about that.
I like that. Were you trying to rhyme that?
I wasn't. Every now and then.
Let them know you're there and let them know you care.
I'm going to put that down for my own self. Yeah.
Add that to my idioms.
Okay. All right. The second thing is knowing your numbers, and I'm going to break this down into a few different sections. So knowing your numbers could mean a number of things, but Josh alluded to this earlier. Just for example, with your lead types. Okay. So what are your conversions from it? I mentioned sign calls when we went from 2% to 8%, 10%. An 8% increase in business, y'all, is a big thing. The crazy thing is that costs us $0 to do. Where in your business, solo agent, team, where in your business can you look for ways that you're stepping over things that you're leaving money on the table? So for example, one type of lead I noticed we had no closings from this year. And it's and I'll text you guys the lead source, but it's, I noticed we had no closings. So we rerouted those leads. And this week, Russ, y'all know Russ, one of my agents, he set 5 appointments. Another agent set 4. We've already held 4 consultations out of those 9. We've held 4 consultations, meaning we take it for granted what a lead is. These are real people with questions, needs, concerns, things that they want to know. And I am shocked with the follow-up, even if we miss some of these leads, that no one's calling them back.
Yeah.
Not just us. I mean, they're like, no, I've reached out to 3 agents. You're the only one that's called me back. And we're like, what? It's, in this critical time, we can't take anything for granted. Any lead, I think, needs to be worked literally to the bone. Also, knowing your numbers. A second part of knowing your numbers is, we all should be, you said stewards of great advice, Tony, and I love that line. I use it often. But you also want, we need to be the economist of choice, right? MREA talks about that. Knowing the market is absolutely critical because it's changing so fast. So, we looked at our MLS does a great job of giving us the data of last year, this year, since it's COVID, it's like a COVID thing. And we're looking at our pendings, the amount of listings we're taking, and we can see taking less listings, then all of a sudden, the last 2 weeks, we've taken more. That's a valuable piece of information if you're walking into a buyer consultation or a seller's consultation. So if you're sitting down with a seller and they're like, 2 weeks ago, I would have said, for the last 6 weeks straight, we're listed less homes than last year, 6 weeks running, and we've taken more pending. So you can understand how that might be an advantage for us, right, Mr. Seller? Inversely, if you're working with a buyer and they're like, well, I think I'm going to come in and give them this lowball offer, right? That's another example. You can educate your buyers because you don't want them to lose a home because there might not be another one came up that's that good for a little while. So it's just being able to convey the information, know the market of the moment. It's changing a little bit more rapidly than it has in years. And so being able to communicate that to even a lead on a phone call, you're establishing yourself as an authority. So that also the third part of knowing your numbers is, data analytics. So inside your database. So what I've been working on with my team is, we all have our databases and we have birthdays and all sorts of stuff, but are we actually doing any kind of data mining? Looking in there and saying, okay, you can have someone on your team, a marketing person, be like, okay, can you go to my Facebook and look for any life changes? Or you could do it on your own, but larger teams, we have to leverage some things. But if you're a sole agent, look for life changes. Scroll through Facebook. Anytime you see a life change, a baby, birth, marriage, unfortunate things like divorce, you can kind of go in and just make a note, maybe they need help. This is valuable information to know. Or I sold them a home 5 years ago. So who's been in their house for 5 years or more? Maybe we go put an asterisk by all these people and it's maybe we should just reach out to them and check in and see how things are going. Do they know? And if you know your numbers, you can say, hey, you sold you this home. I know you were having my records here. You're at a 4.5% interest rate. Yeah, we've been thinking about selling. We're out of, we need to upsize. We need to downsize. And you can convey you can get a bigger home at 3% interest and keep the same note. And that's really good information. Again, you have to know those numbers and have the conversations.
Well, can I pause for a second, Tim? That's a perfect thing you could text, right? You could text that whole group and say, you've been in your house over 5 years now, and most people in this situation's got a lot of equity. If you have any questions about anything, I'm here to help. That's awesome. I love it.
Another thing, Tim, and I mentioned this to you the other day, 2 things I'd mention just real quick while you're on that, 3 things. One is we did a survey a couple years ago to people just to figure out, it's our VIP, now it's our intake form, our VIP questionnaire. So we haven't done a good job of using it because it's not been like clickable or usable inside of our top producer or Commissions Inc. But I mean, that's where you get like all the kids' birthdays and their favorite candy bar, their dream trip, their blah, blah, blah. And then the other part would be find out migration patterns and then find out where are places like, if you go ask anybody on 30A, they would tell you 2 cities that people own properties on 30A that are from. Actually, they'd name 3 cities. It's Atlanta and it's Dallas, and number 1 is Nashville, Tennessee. So where are your feeder markets? Like, I think everybody on this call, or that all of you guys own either a lake house or a lot to build a lake house on, or a farm that I own, or Tony, you're about to buy a beach house. Like, where are the feeder market opportunities for your agents to know? Like, we're always asking these questions of like, what else are you looking to buy, so you can put them in touch with agents there. So like, you want to be all things real estate for those people, and have, because there really are some correlations between like local, like places within an hour or 3 hours of Nashville, like the mountains or something like that. So just a second.
I want to add to the anniversaries. Tim, you mentioned the VIPs and getting their data. So what we've just made as a new system is whenever we have the pop-up and the reminder for the home anniversary, we're not only sending an updated CMA. So just, we use cloud CMA, so it's classy and nice, and it goes out in the mail to them. We just switched it to by email just during these last couple months with these days. And then also at that same time, that triggers our admin to go add them into command and make sure that neighborhood, what are they called, neighborhoods, are set up, so they're getting a neighborhood, what's it called, neighborhoods. Okay, so they're getting a monthly snapshot of, it's just a market snapshot, but we're just adding them to command because we're not all into command yet. We're just baby stepping it in there, but that's a great tool that we can be adding our people to, so they are updated on the value of their home.
I just learned command, you're able to, and I haven't done this yet, but I just learned this, that you're able to figure out where the top people are coming from your city within command, which is incredible.
Yeah,
That's
my favorite thing, command.
I think you can also go to howmoneyWalks.com. I sent that to Tim the other day. I can put it in the chat box, but it has a migration pattern, and it shows based on population or wealth mode of like the top 5 cities that your county is gaining.
I'll drop it in there.
And what you're losing. You got it?
Yeah, I'll drop it in there. I got it up right now.
So why else that is valuable for those that are watching is, if you're an agent and you focus on agent to agent referrals, you can make sure those people are in your database, or you connect with them because they're going to have clients coming to or from. The other thing is, I forgot my other thing. So there you go. Go ahead, Tim. Sorry.
The next thing I had was, it's client events are different, right? It's in some areas of the country are more lax and we're not, but at the end of the day, we've got to figure out how to do some things. So you can't just have to get creative in how you want to connect with your database. A, know it's really important, and B, figure out unique ways to do it. So we couldn't do our client events, so we do it like a back to school haircut coupons that where people register, we sent those out, and we're doing different things to register and get in front of people. And it's like bringing them something of value, because we budget that money for our events anyway, but you have to, we can't forget that we're in the top of mind awareness and to give back and bring value. And so that was a huge important, and B, figure out unique ways to do it. So we couldn't do our client events, so we do it like a back to school haircut coupons that where people register, we sent those out, and we're doing different things to register and get in front of people. It's like bringing them something of value. I don't know.
That was weird.
Wow, that was bizarre. Okay, so yeah. Anyway,
I was like, "How's Tim talking without his mouth moving? This is so weird."
I didn't even see it.
That was weird.
Anyway, I all recorded that freakiness. You said there was a full moon or crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the last thing I have,
Where did that come from?
It's not my stuff.
Okay. Let me try this again. Is this normal?
I'm confused on what's going on.
No. Maybe we do
Okay.
a glass of wine or something. Yeah,
Um,
Dory says that Tim is a ventriloquist and is
yeah. The last thing that I'm going to bring is to actually get in there and take a look at your database and feed it and weed it. We need to be looking at the quality of our database, not just the size. We do aim to grow it. But it's a fair assessment. That's a fair statement to go. The size of your business is going to be relevant to the quality of your database, right? The size and quality, right? That's a very fair assessment. So getting in there and making sure you're adding to it and you're taking out, there's people that move, there's people that you just need out of there. You don't have a relationship. They have a relationship with someone else. You've lost touch. Somebody you imported from your phone and you've never called. Get that out of there and take a good look at the quality of your database and just make some effort to get in front of them. Yeah, that's it. That's what I have.
well, awesome. Well, I'll hop in real
About
quick.
you, Jenny?
All right, let's do this. So I will just start with something that I was just reminded of is we have implemented pass the batons. And so, of course, you guys have heard of a pass the baton. I think it originally came from Monica in Perfect Real Estate Assistant. And so we now just have them in the form of a Google form. And so the agent is responsible for passing the baton through a Google form to the listing manager, to the transaction coordinator. And those I think everybody has and understands. And what we made sure and have happen now is that every passing of the baton also requires a download and conversation. So the agent and the admin must have a phone conversation nowadays or in person with here's their behavioral style, here's any interesting things about them, sometimes there's intricacies with the communication that needs to happen. Now, the one that we realized we really needed was a pass the baton from the transaction coordinator back to the agent 24 to 48 hours before closing. Because what was happening was the agents were so clueless as to all the details that an agent needs to know. Like, is the walkthrough all done? Repairs all done? Invoices to closing? Who's grabbing the key? Like all those things that come up and you're sitting at the closing table and you're like, who's doing this? What? How? And so we have found that being super valuable, that the agent is armed and confident when they go to that final walkthrough, that they know all those details. So that's something that we just added in. It's been really helpful. My other category was really just going to be on video, and I knew I was going to let you guys go first, so I figured I'd run out of time like we are. And so mine are really, everybody knows the value of, I'm going to mute you guys just for a second because it's having a glitch. The value of video, and so many people are afraid to hop in and do it. For example, I know Dory is here watching on Zoom, and I saw her first video, her and Francesca. They were so excited. I thought it was amazing. And so you just got to get over yourself and do it. And since I've been doing it for so long, it may look easier for me, but I still sucked early on. I mean, terrible. You guys have been to my YouTube channel. Like, go back in time. I share this with you so that you'll see how bad I was. And I'm still a work in progress. So the thing about video is use it for everything. So every piece of our transaction has a video attached to it. So it's a pre-listing video, a pre-buyer consultation video. It gives them homework. It gives them links. It gives them, here's all our reviews. Go check all this out in advance. Then it's hey, congratulations, you're on the market. We're so excited. Here are the next steps. Congratulations, you're under contract. Here are the next steps. Here's your homework. Here's what we're doing behind the scenes. And of course, the text is going to be in the body of the email. So they've got two ways to make sure that we are getting that information to them. That has been really helpful in providing our clients with updates. And of course, we follow the promise just like Tony does. And they are still getting those intro phone calls and, letting them know who they are and how things are going to work from there. The other videos that I've implemented during COVID are the Zoom business to business type videos. So I instantly, of course, we know our restaurants were struggling early on, our local businesses struggling, and even our nonprofits. And that's our mission on our team, is to give back and support all those people. So it was very natural for me to just, through our database and friends and reaching out through Facebook, saying, hey, we love promoting and sharing local businesses. Would you be up for a 3 to 5 minute video? We'll do it through Zoom. I'll record it. I'll share it on all our social sites with our network and our database. Are you up for that? And everyone says yes. And now I've got more content to share and a way to show, because it's who we are, that we love to give back to our community, because we do, and that's who we are. So I'd say when it comes to your database, you first just got to know who you are and know your culture and know your mission and your purpose, and then apply that to the touches that you give to your database, because they worked with you for a reason, because of you. And so you have to continue to share that message with them. The other videos that we do, you guys know, I've said it a million times, I've worked with viral marketing for a really long time, and they just help keep me accountable to doing 2 videos a month that get sent out to our database. So what I found through all of my years of video is that honestly, the consumers don't care so much about market updates. Of course, you need to blend those in, because you do need to be the economist of choice and remind them what you do for a living. And the videos that get the most shares and likes and views are going to be the ones that have to do with local restaurants, business, community stuff, nonprofits. So if you're going to build a library out, you can just go to the Wolek Group on YouTube, and you can just look through all our playlists so you can get some ideas. And that's really, the big things for me that I'll pause on now, because I want to make sure that we get any questions that people have or comments. And I can't really see Facebook, if somebody can see if there's anything there.
Let me go up.
What else? Nope, nobody comments. I'm just so excited that I get to see you guys, even if it is just through Zoom. Such an honor to be with you guys and learn from you. And thank you for letting me hang out with you all these years, because if we looked at from the time we started hanging out to my production, it's grown. I know a lot of people reach out to me asking how you grow the 5 people that you hang out with. How do you find a community of big thinkers and high D drivers? How would you guys address that for people who are watching, who want to be more productive and stay more focused and accountable?
I just
think you have a lot of ways. I mean, you can hire a coach. That's probably what I did that made the biggest difference. And then ironically, that coach introduced us, Jennie, right? Like that's kind of how we met.
That's
and then he
smart
introduced me
and
to.
so true. That's so smart and so true, because a great coach has all these super mega agent friends that they work with, and ask them to connect you. Thank you for reminding me of that. That's great.
Yeah. So that'd be a simple way. And then,
I think you just go look at people's businesses that you want yours to look like 3 years from now, and go hang out with them.
I think
went and hung out with these guys, like just going on like trips with guys trips with some of the guys in Gary's group. And
that's not going to be the normal agent though, Josh. So I think that's super cool that you do that. But let's talk to the agents who, I think we make it, we're like, will you just go hang out with them?
No, you go shadow, just like pick up the phone, and shadow a team that you want. If you want to be a team, or if you want to go be a luxury agent, go find a luxury agent that you want your business to be like. Say, hey, can I come shadow you? Or can I go do this? Can I do that? It's not difficult. I'm just saying that those things, like when you're inside of something like Keller Williams, then you become friends with these people, and then it all, you rub off on each other from a business perspective.
True.
And you know what they're doing and what they're not doing, and who they're hanging around, what they're reading, that type of thing.
Yeah. I love it. What if, especially in this virtual world, what if you just reached out to the agents that you respected and asked them to Zoom in on a team meeting or with you? Nowadays, we've got more time and availability maybe to offer that. So Dory says that we are her virtual coaches. So hugs to you, Dory.
Dory's awesome.
Well, let's hear everybody's final words of wisdom for people to really focus on their database and go from E to P and I to We.
I'll give you mine real quick because I have to jump off the line. I think everybody, well,
We do too.
Well, I have a 4:30 appointment. Oh my God.
Go ahead.
Okay. Everybody on here just mentioned like it all just comes down to the basics. And I know there's different levels of that, but it's just like just continuing to do it like ongoing, just basics, fundamentals. That's it.
Yeah, it's work. It needs to be done. We have to keep at it and keep paying attention to what's going on around us. Feel like it's a great market. We may not have this kind of market for a while. So what are you doing now to insulate yourself moving forward? Fourth quarter, first quarter next year. Yeah, stay vigilant.
I'd say, don't get stuck on making adjustments, right? So if something's not working right now, we're redoing our ISA department, and we're not making a lot of changes, but I think the changes we're making is just asking lots of questions to one another and brainstorming how do we make it even better. And that goes for every aspect of your business, is question it. Don't think you've arrived. Know there's a better way always, and then go seek the counsel that you need, the agent that's doing it, and don't be afraid to call them, especially within the Keller Williams network. I mean, we're able to do that at a pretty high level. So if you admire someone that is already there, just don't be afraid to reach out to them and try to get assistance, So it's pretty simple.
That's great. Well, we plan on continuing this series on different topics. So if you guys have certain topics that are really important to you, then we will add it to the list. We want to make sure that everybody feels they're getting value, and we appreciate you hanging out with us on this Friday. So everyone have an amazing weekend, and we look forward to seeing you in real life someday soon. I can't wait to give you hugs and high fives. Have a great one.
Y'all. Later, T.
Bye. Bye.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.